Boom. We're good.
This live stream. All right, let's see. If you want to post a message on Twitter, that okay, let me see. All
Did
right,
it
let me see
work?
if I can. Yeah. How do I quote tweet this though? Let's see.
Go to my account, to my posts.
Post oh, so I
Okay.
post this. Here we go.
There you go. There you go.
Got it. All right, cool. All right, let's go here. Hi guys. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I have a short list of things I wanted to talk for this night. Um, how's everybody doing? Awesome day in the market. A lot of fun stuff today. Nice recovery today on a variety of names. I had an awesome day. I was, I had a really good trade on AFRM. I've been watching this for a long time, and this thing is just gonna keep going, in my opinion. I love this name. Um, I had a handful of names on my list. For anyone joining us on Twitter, welcome. We do this kind of stuff pretty frequently for our members in our Discord. So if anybody's interested, there's a link in our bio. But yeah, tag me on Twitter or tag me in the chat if you want me to go over anything specific. A couple things that I saw today. First one is Riot. This chart, I don't know how I feel about it. It's not bad. These miners are always a pain in the ass to trade because they give up a lot of their moves easily. But I did see these calls come in, these January 17, 2025, $14 calls, and there was actually $2 million in premium in these, which is pretty notable for this name. Again, just from a quick flow lesson, Riot, this is the ticker, obviously expiration strike. And then you can see down here at the end, you can see the implied volatility just continuing to juice as they buy these. So they come in at 237 Central Time and then proceeded to continue to sweep these for the next. These are all pretty quick succession, but there's a little tack on here at the end. This line in the middle is really substantial. That there was 900K that made up a little bit over half the premium on these today. So I like these a lot. If the crypto theme kind of continues, I think that this could keep going. From a technical standpoint, just kind of zooming out on this. This is the weekly. I think it looks interesting. You get a big break of this kind of, you know, uh, Jake from Trend Spider falling wedge, whatever you want to call it, um, through here. And I'm gonna turn some of these moving averages off. So you get a kind of a break of this kind of wedge pattern. I was watching this a while ago when we were down here because somebody tagged me on Twitter and they wanted me to look at it. But you could see that this reclaim of like this maybe 850, $8.90 kind of area here. You can see how quickly we reclaimed this, retested it, and then we got this huge reaction up. So going down to the daily time frame, I don't think this is a. I mean, these it's not like these are weeklies. There's a little bit of time on these, so these guys might experience a tad bit of drawdown on these, but you get this area over here, this kind of $12.50 range here. So you can see this is resistance, 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 and then a break above and coming back down to retest that area. It did close below the 9 EMA, so I didn't enter these or anything. I'm just going to kind of keep them on my watch list. But some of these miners have some potential for sure. One of the other crypto names that I think looks much, much better is Coin. So I was looking at a position I didn't I would have liked to enter down here at this 270 kind of retest area as we come into this 9 EMA. This was probably your best risk to reward, is to risk off this kind of 270-ish area. You can see how bullish it was. It didn't even get down that far. I think it tagged this moving average to the penny today. Um, and some really interesting intraday action here on this. Let me do this right here. So, we had a pretty good, it looked like it was gapping down at open, and this flow is kind of all over the place on this name, which is not unusual. So if we go to the beginning of the day and open, let me see here. Put on a filter here. So there was these. So this was the flow that I posted earlier this morning, and this is in my opinion. this is where it takes a lot of time at looking at options flow to kind of figure out what the hell these guys are doing. But you could see right at market open at 8:30 Central Time, they came in and looks like they were selling these calls, and they sold them for the first basically 10 minutes right here. And I thinking these guys were trying to get a little bit more of a they're trying to try to catch some downside on it, but this reversed on them quickly. And then you can see here, and this is kind of confusing to me as well. Even though I've been looking at this for years, I still sometimes I look at things, I'm not sure exactly what these guys are doing. It looks like they were selling to open these calls here, and then they looked like some of this is covering their position because they came in above the ask about 5 or 7 minutes later. And some of this is being filled. So I would actually like to see how on open interest looks on this tomorrow. And I think that this first half is selling just because the implied volatility is decreasing as well as the contract price. And then additionally, it comes in here and they come in with size for $4 million and they come in at the ask here. So I wonder how much of this is covering their short call position versus opening a new position. When you get this much in the chain, I mean, if I pull this up, like if I go into Wales and let's look this up, just um, it's just for everybody that's following me along. I do this for our members all the time. I actually do reference both systems fairly frequently, just because I want to be accurate, because sometimes some systems will show certain things that other systems won't. So if I go into this chain here, this is a really nice feature of this in here. I mean, this chain had $33 million in premium, which is not a small amount. Um, and you can see that they entered on this kind of candle right at open. They sold these calls that were 320, which would be up here, and they sold these calls. And I don't know if they just decided to change their position and cover some of it and then buy the dip. But I would be curious to see how much of this 17,000 in volume will transfer over to open interest tomorrow. I think technically the chart looks great. I mean, that was a good opportunity really to get long this morning, is on that big wick down. Obviously, we had news today too with Trump and I think Brian Armstrong is the CEO of Coinbase. So this looks really good. Like it wants to break over this daily level of, let's just call it 325. I think that the buying patterns look good. I wouldn't want to. I mean, I really wouldn't want to short this personally. I mean, I think that that you're probably going to get caught off guard doing that personally. So again, and that wasn't the only line. That was just something I had noticed up at the open. But there were hold on, okay, here. Let's see here. There was another line in here I really liked. Let me see here. See if I can find it. This one here. No, is it this one? No, it's a different line. Hold on. Turn my filters off. This one right here. Yeah, this is nice. I actually entered these. I didn't alert them because it's hard to alert a $2,000 contract, but right here, these 1213, which is a pretty short expiration, 340 strike, and they dumped $6 million in a premium in here, which is not I mean, that's a pretty heavy duty order. And they came in the morning. So about an hour after open, they came in and swept these with size. And I can't tell that it doesn't look like they exited this position. So I'm assuming that they're going to hold this overnight here. So definitely a name to keep on your radar for sure. Right here is this coin. There's a ton of different strikes and expiration in here as the day went on. It just became more and more bullish. So let me see here. SQ. So I got tagged like 3 or 4 times on this today, and I want to pull up this chain. So first of all, I've been very, very bullish on this for weeks now. I said this weeks ago that this is building out a stage one base here. Right through here, we're starting to get a nice push through this sort of resistance area through, let's say $85, $90 through here. And this thing just looks like a monster. It just looks so strong. I mean, if you look at how long this has been consolidating for, let me see here. If you look at the date range on here, this has been consolidating. There's so many names that look like this. And this has got 900 days. I mean, this looks just like a lot of the ARC names. This 900 days of consolidation, which is just insane. So I'm long this via shares. Just from a flow standpoint, it was relentless in these 620, 130 calls. I I hesitate to enter something like this because I don't know what the hell these guys are doing. So when you dig into the chain here, um, so 620, $130 calls. What's really interesting is that they never exceeded open interest for the day, right? That these calls never exceeded like the open interest. So I don't know if they're covering a short position because the open interest, this is actually the highest chain. So there's 41,000 in open interest on this, and there was 41,000 in volume today. So they could potentially be. I mean, I'm thinking this is mostly buying. They're mostly being filled at the ask here. Uh, and again, the implied volatility doesn't give you a whole ton of information because it goes from 48 to 49 to 50, but they started the day at 50, so it's not super clear. The open interest tomorrow morning is going to give you the clearest picture of what's going on with these. So what you guys need to know is that if something is the open interest is key because that's going to tell you if something's being opened or closed or how the volume is relative to that. So potentially this could be a short call. They could have been sold these calls short months ago, and now they're buying back to close them. So we really won't know until tomorrow morning. I think that I mean I don't think 130 is unreasonable for this name by any stretch of the imagination. Especially by June. I mean that's a long way away, and that you're really looking at this sort of area in here. This is basically the next resistance area is somewhere in here kind of in that 130, this 130 area here. So I don't think, I mean, this is just like a volume packet, like pocket right here. It's like, I bet you if I turn this on, there's like, yeah, you can see all this volume in this shelf down here and very, very few volume up here. So my guess is if this is really bullish and this theme continues, this is going to go straight up here. So I don't think it's an unreasonable bet. I would actually like to look at this in the morning and see that the open interest doubled and that this was all adding, but we won't be able to tell until tomorrow morning. So $14 million in premium there. Again, I love this name. Big fan of this here. TSM. So this name there's been quite a bit of flow in this name as well. These guys have gotten kind of railed over the last week or so. So these guys came in here. I'm actually going to pull this up. Let me see here. So there was a couple different chains that they've been really, really active in. So one were these 12, 13, $200 calls. Additionally, this was 1129, 187.50 calls. And then again today they came in with these 1129, $195 calls. Now, guys, this is when you're looking at options flow, especially around, you got to think about uh, what what could be potential sympathy, right? We have an Nvidia earnings this week, so there's going to be a ton of semi-flow in both directions. So you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt in here. That we have this Nvidia earnings up this week, so that's going to be a big catalyst in the semi space. But again, not I don't think this looks terrible. I mean, you kind of got like I don't know, it's kind of a half-ass drawn little wedge here. Um, through here. Like if you kind of zoom out, it's kind of looking like a little bit of a wedge kind of thing. Again, what I trade most on this is this $50 or 50-day moving average here. I don't hate this. It's probably not, I mean, it's not an unreasonable area to buy a major cap like this. And obviously, if Nvidia earnings are super bullish, this might rip. But the fact that they've been so persistent, that's kind of what when Manrev and I talk about like the story of the flow of what it's trying to tell you. When you see like three or four different chains being hit consistently, I think it's worth paying attention to for sure. And this could be a good sympathy for Nvidia. I do like the fact that we did a little bit of a undercut and rally on this 50-day. So you get a little bit of a dip below, and we actually closed above that today. So, we'll see if we get a little bit of a pop out of this Nvidia earnings, but I don't think it's a bad name at all. I think it's been having relative strength. This is the kind of just in general. I posted a chart on CELH on Celsius Holdings last night, to talk shit on Twitter, and this is a decent looking chart to long. It's going up and to the right. I mean, that's kind of where you want to place your bullish bets versus something like this, where I mean, when something looks like this, do you really, I mean, what's the chances that you catch the bottom? I mean, I did see this buying volume in here, so maybe, maybe something's coming out of this, but what's the risk to reward, right? Like the trend is your friend on this kind of stuff. And I don't really care what the options flow is telling me. I'm not really, unless I see some crazy put writing or something, I'm really not interested in this. I'd much rather, long something that's in an uptrend. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Uh, DJT was another name I was looking at as well. DJT, obviously we got that news, that huge pop at the end of the day. I think they're trying to buy back holdings, the crypto company or whatever. These stood out to me. These they came in about 15 minutes to the close. They came in and they bought weekly $42.50 calls. They bought 1,000 of them here. And I was looking at this on a 4 hour. Let me pull this up. Kind of a interesting look here that you have this downtrend it's trying to break out of. Uh, I mean, let me change this here. Even on a daily, I mean, you get almost to the 50-day here. I'm gonna turn some of these moving averages off. A nice looking candle today, 15%, 16% candle here. And then, we closed above both the 20 and the 9 EMAs. So kind of on this, if you look at this on a smaller time frame, it might be setting up. I don't know if I want to chase this, but we've seen some crazy moves on this, so I would not be surprised to see this go. I just thought that was kind of an interesting bet that they're throwing down 100K on, these 42.50 calls are not even close to the money. So that I did get an alert on that. So did I get an alert on? Yeah, I got it. I feel like I got an alert on this. Yeah. So this came up as an alert. These DJT roulette bullish. This is just one line of flow here. These came in these 42.50 calls. So something to keep on your radar for sure. What others do I have? I have one more name left, and I think that's gonna pretty much cover it for me tonight. So Philip Morris is another name that I like. I kind of like this. I never traded it before. Uh, but looks great. I mean, this buying patterns look good. Nice consolidation through here. You can see you get these skyscrapers in here. These kind of big buying volume candles look great. And it looks like, I mean, basically you break this 133-ish area, this is gone. I mean, is this all-time high breakout? Yeah, I mean, this thing has been very strong. I think it's kind of ironic that this looks so good with the whole Make America Healthy Again, that Philip Morris is, selling cigarettes and Zins and all that stuff. But two chains on this today as well. Let's see. So these, let's see how much premium they are. 117, 135s. So this had $1 million in premium today, and that's a lot for this kind of name. And there was another, so these 117, 135s, and then there was also these a little bit shorter expiration. So December monthly expiration, 133 strikes. So again, out of the money. I would like to see how much of this carries over to open interest. I'm thinking this is all buying personally, because you have the ask. This is no side here. Below bid, but the implied volatility did not decrease. So I'm thinking this might be buying. This isn't this most liquid chain, so it might be coming up as below the bid. And then additionally, you can see the implied volatility jumped again on this. So, and then again, you get the confluence from this other chain here. So definitely have some bullish markers on this. I think this looks good. I think if you get through this 133 level, obviously, you don't want to chase this, but if we get an inside day or even a retracement to any of these moving averages, I think I think it looks pretty good. You can see this 20-day EMA is kind of, or 20-day moving average is just kind of curling up with it. So that definitely a name to watch. It looks pretty good. So I'm gonna check the chat and see if you guys have any other questions, but that's basically all I got for you guys right now. Um, I know I saw that too, Patrick, that's the, let's see if while I'm on, if I have anything today on it. I don't know. There's no options flow on Z today. That's weird. Yeah, I got nothing. But I think the chart looks pretty good. So yeah, I think there's a lot of names that look like this. I mean, you get a lot of these names that are kind of you get a huge gap up and then kind of consolidating back to this 9-day moving average, 9-day EMA rather. So but yeah, that's it. You guys have any other questions for me? I'm gonna look at the chat here. Let's see here. Someone on Twitter. This is the bid for DJT. Oh, was it really? 1122, 4250. Let's see. Yeah, see, this is a good so that's a good example. Thank you, person on Neil Lim. I'm not gonna say your last name, Limbachaya. I don't know, but thank you for pointing that out. So this is also why I should have checked this. This came in a late day, so I didn't get a chance to check it. But you can see that Wales is showing this as at the bid. So again, I don't. This is why I always double check before I alert or enter anything personally. You can see when you dig in here. So some of this is at the ask, some of this is at the mid, and some of it's at the bid. In my opinion, would I chase that? I mean, probably not. I mean, that's not really my style to chase a 16% candle. That's some people do it. I see people on Twitter do that all the time. That's not my style. I think that caught my attention, and I think it's worth digging into. But thank you very much for posting that. That's why I always check both systems just for clarification purposes. So hopefully, who's ever that person on Twitter, thank you. Hopefully, you got my answer. So MO. Did I post something on this? Let's see. There were these SoFi. So SoFi, I posted this. You know what? I'll link you to my in my journal here. I did post this, I want to say. Let's see. Yeah, here. Oh, so I just who's so Space Monkey, I just tagged you in a post that I had over the weekend on two different chains on SoFi. That thing is a monster. I really like that name. I never traded it before. Admittedly, I always thought it was so boring because I felt like it was trapped between uh basically like $6 and $9 forever. It was basically in this range here. But you get this break. You can see that this $10-ish level, 1035, you have resistance, resistance, resistance here, and then you finally get a break above and a nice retest here. Uh, and the flow on this has been bullish ever since we broke out, which is understandable. So I will pull that chain for you real quick. But those are the two chains I do like from last week. Let's see here. SoFi. This isn't. I don't know if this is buying or not. Looks like there was these three blocks of calls for the pretty short expiration for $15 calls. Let me see here. Let's see if there's anything a little more concrete. I think that those two I posted, I just tagged you in, are probably the better ones. Those are probably a lot more substantial, and there's quite a bit of premium in those. And you can see there's some not bad. These aren't bad. Some speculatives. I just can't. Sometimes it's hard to tell on these if they're being sold to open or if they're buying back their position. This is a lot of what we see in the options flow is that you see some activity in the morning and then later activity in the day. I mean, this isn't bad. 3,000 contracts above ask and then another 2,000 right after that. So it's not super clear on this. Sometimes I like to that's most of what options flow looks like is just like buying back and hedging and all that kind of stuff. So if I'm posting something, I kind of want it to be way more concrete and way more clear of what that is. But I do like that name a lot for sure. Yeah. MO. Let me see here. Oh, pins. You said anything on from yeah, so that's a good point. So pins, I don't know how I feel about that name. I did post this chart over the weekend, which let's see here. I posted this just because it looked kind of vulnerable, but I guess technically it's on support here. So if we go out to a weekly chart on pins, you can see that it has this like ascending trend line here, and a little bit of a bit on it here today. When you see these bounces getting weaker and weaker, um, that's not super bullish. Plus, you can see like some pretty heavy selling in here. But there was these. So these are I don't know what the hell these guys are doing, but I saw it because there was a ton of contract, like number of contracts in here. So if I pull up these pins, it was the January 40s. I don't know what these guys are doing because it's like that's super far out of the money. So there was, I'm gonna assume this is all buying in here. So there's 200K in premium, so not a ton. But the fact that there was 27,000 contracts bought in here is it's notable. I don't know what these guys are doing. It's just kind of suspicious in my opinion. I guess based on what I just showed you on the chart, it's not terrible, but uh yeah, it is suspicious, right? Like why the hell would they be loading that far out of the money with that many contracts? There's something that's always like in there that makes me a suspect when you see that many contracts being loaded. Like, are they preparing for a buyout or something? That's always kind of been the meme on this, but I mean I guess this is on support. Technically it's on support, so I don't know if I would necessarily want to, you know, I don't want to short it here, but something to keep in mind. Pins is one of those names that always gets options flow, and it's not always when you've done this as long as I have, you kind of get to know which of these traders are good and which ones are garbage. And Pins is always a kind of a coin toss, so to speak. So yeah, so that's all I have on that. No, I meant suspicious as more so like it's just suspicious. Like, are these guys like buying these dirt cheap contracts because there's some news coming and they're gonna, we've seen that before on like Rivian. I'll never forget that. Like it was like, I don't know, over the summer or something, somebody bought like 5,000 weekly contracts of something that went like they were like 5,000 contracts at like 4 cents a piece or something crazy like that, and they ended up going like 1,000%. So yes, eyebrow raising in a speculative manner. I will put it in Alex Jones terms. How about this? It's globalists are positioning for something big, maybe. I don't know. All right, let me see. Onan, that's a name I have not looked at. I was actually going to make a meme the other day because The Onion supposedly was buying InfoWars, which is Alex Jones' company, and I was going to make an Onion like Onan meme, but I decided not to. So, let me see here. When's earnings? So they just are. So first thing I always look during earnings season, has this already had earnings? Which is yes, it's already had earnings, so we could take a look at the flow and see if there's anything interesting. Um, Really not a bad hammer candle today. I mean, this got a bid on a lot of different moving averages today. Let me see if I find anything. I have one order today, or two rather. This is all I got for you. I got this one. Look, someone opened these small puts of 21K, and then somebody sold some calls for 50K. So sorry, I don't got very much on this. I mean, if I looked at a historical view, I'm sure I can find something a little bit more compelling, but let me see here. Let's just put a filter on. Take a look at this. Some puts here. It's not. My guess is this is going to be kind of all over the place, and as a good. Oh, these aren't bad. Let's see here. 1111. They came in. These aren't bad. These 1150. Oh, these are expired, so I'm not going to look at them. Yeah, nothing super duper compelling in here, but uh, they're probably don't worry, these guys will come in and if this gets a big move in either direction, they'll come and chase it. So it just looks like it's kind of just consolidating in this kind of range here. It looks like it tried to break out above this huge wick here and got rejected. So I think it's something to keep an eye on. Not a bad area to bid off of these moving averages here, and this kind of off this $50 site level. But I don't know if there's necessarily a trade here yet. I think it needs a little bit more time. So let me see here. Kava. Let's take a look at that. This might be my last one, guys, because I'm trying to get some other stuff done tonight. I got kids and shit to get to. So nasty rejection. I mean, this is off of earnings, it looks like. So this got all the way up to 170 something and some change, and it got rejected. So typically after earnings, I like to give it a little bit of time. When did they report? Tuesday last week. So the flow after earnings isn't always reliable. This is all multi-leg. So let me see. 1122, 130, 140. These might be so these lines, oh, let me see here. They're not even so typically when you see the so these are related. When you see the timestamp are exactly the same, that means that these two lines are related. So this looks like a call credit spread so that they're selling the 135s and then buying the 140s as a hedge. So this is a looks like a bearish bet. This is a call credit spread, so it looks like it's collecting this premium. And then these two are related too. So selling 140. It's the same. No, it's a different. This is more of a calendar spread because this is that. But again, this isn't anything that I would take a trade off of personally. I think this is. I would like to see a little bit more directional on that. So, um, interesting to see. It's coming down to the 50 day. So again, this has been up and to the right for basically all year. I mean, it broke out of its IPO base. I remember we were looking this on stream a while ago. It broke out of this big base here. Here. So you got to break over this level here, and then basically retested it down here, and then it's been up only since. So this is a just looking at this guys, this is good to look at is these kind of this IPO base. This is kind of when you see a name like this that's been breaking out of its IPO base, that's a big these rallies can really go. They really got legs because a lot of these guys get in early, and once it breaks this sort of level here, I mean, it's basically off to the races. You can see how hard this has rallied off of this IPO base. So we've talked about that a handful of times. Reddit had something similar to that. That it, I mean, hold on, let me zoom out of this. Yeah, same story. Um, Basically, again, you get a break of these IPO levels here, and then it's off to the races. This right here. You see, you almost try to break above here and it got rejected, which is pretty nasty actually. But eventually it did break above and then just proceeded to just go nuts after that. ARM had a similar. ARM is back here, this kind of IPO base breakout. I'll never forget this because I bought these and they were loading calls like crazy on this. But basically, again, you get that break of this kind of IPO level, and then it's just crazy. You know its name is actually looks like this is Coin. This is something I'm watching on this. I mean, we're getting close. I mean, this thing, based on those last four examples or whatever I showed you guys, like if this really wants to get break above this level, it's gonna be gone and it's gonna just be off to the races. So I don't think this. I kind of kicking myself. I sold some of my shares in this kind of area before the election here, but this is if Trump really wants to do a lot with crypto, I think that this is going to be the biggest beneficiary from that. And this has just been, a monster. Obviously, this and I remember looking at this chart on stream with Manrav. Like, I'm going to pull this out here. We were looking at this, and I said, I'll never forget it because we looked at this here, and there was this candle here, and we were looking. I always do my streams on Monday night, and I was looking at it, and it was like clearly breaking above it. I'm like, oh, I'll just wait until wait for this candle to close, and then you get this break above this weekly level. This reminded me of SMCI, like maybe is it last year? They had a similar kind of basing pattern here, and it finally broke above, and then just went bananas. It just continued to rip. I think I made like 6 grand on this. I sold my position somewhere in here, this 280 area. I sold. Uh, I guess it was shares. I shouldn't really never sell those, but whatever. I'm happy with the 5 grand on it. So it's funny because this consolidation here just reminded me a lot of MSTR. Is that we got a break above this weekly level and then just continue to rip. So I'm kind of thinking that we have like some kind of a blow off top on MSTR, and who knows, maybe it'll go back to zero like this SMCI did. So um, anything else you guys got for me? I know I was looking at that owl too over the weekend, Patrick. It still looks good. I don't know what the options chain looks like on this, but I know that a lot of the traders in our room have been doing a lot of shares only, which is actually smart. When you have trending markets like this, do you really need leverage when things have been ripping like this? It's a lot easier to maintain a position, in my opinion, when you just buy shares and let it run. But I do like the look of this too. So, um, do smaller stocks flow matter like APLD? That's a good question. I was looking at that. I So APLD, I think what you can find in these smaller names is that this is actually a really nice order. I'm gonna post these because this is actually, unless Manray posted these, but this is a nice order. This is like 300K in premium. Uh, this is actually, so to answer your question here, let me just put this in here before I forget. Let's see here. So that's actually on that's actually how I caught SMCI. Like I remember me, and I don't know if you guys know who Alliant Capital is on Twitter, but if I pull, I'll never forget because it was, oh my God, this was so long ago. This was pre-split. So let me see here. It was down in this area. So again, this is pre-split, but this was, they were sweeping like $110 calls in this. Not working for me. Yeah, in this area here, they were sweeping like heavy duty calls with like, 500, $300,000 in premium. And I remember Alliant sent me a message on Twitter and he's like, dude, this is gonna go. They keep sweeping calls. And this is when it was a much smaller name than it is now. And I mean, the rest is history on this. But so yeah, to answer your question, what on smaller names, if you see persistence, if you see that like week after week, they're like, oh, they keep hitting this, they keep hitting this, they keep hitting this. It's something to pay attention to because usually that there's some news coming. So I think that like if we pull up APLD, and I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have to jump off here in a second, but this will be the last thing I cover. And you guys can always tag me in the Discord if you guys want more information. I was looking at this today. I don't know how I feel about it because it kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders, or excuse me, like a regular head and shoulders. Like you get left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder here. But I don't know. What do they even do? I don't even know what sector they're in. I don't know if I'd really want to short this personally. I think that this is kind of just getting out of this base here. So that was just my 2 cents, but it's just kind of consolidating out of this base here. I think that if we break kind of like this level here, you know, call it $10 or whatever. I mean, you've basically got all this consolidation in here. This might be a good. I mean, then you got some of these highs up here that might go for. So, that $17 area looks nice if we get a break of this consolidation here. So, but yeah, I think that this is definitely an interesting order. Oh, this are weeklies too, which is even more interesting. Now, the thing you guys got to remember that these whales, for whatever reason, they will chase big moves. It's like they just want to get in a position as fast as they can. And these guys came in at 9:30 this morning, so they were buying this. They're buying this huge rip up candle. So you got to take it with a grain of salt of what these guys are doing, and just be mindful. It's like, do you really want to buy something that's ripping like this? They're probably underwater now on these 850 calls because they're buying them basically here. But I think that if you see a consistent theme of the same name being hit over and over and over again, I think it's worth paying attention to. And I think that you don't even need to play leverage on that. On the smaller names, you could just dollar cost average into shares on lower time frames and at moving averages, and I think that's a good strategy. So um, besides that, that's it, guys. I'm gonna get some other stuff done tonight, but um, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If you got anything, as always, please go chart and flow requests. We try to get to these as fast as we can. So if any of them in our members for our Discord. Um, you guys can go in here and post whatever you want us to look at. If you guys like this live stream, you can go. So we have a Discord that we do called Uncharted Territory. You can join, promo code Alex Jones will get you 50% off. Tons of good reviews. It's lots of fun. So join up. That's it. That's all I got for you guys. I'm gonna end the live stream here and